It is day 2 of Vlogmas, baby. The last day I was here, when I spent an entire month, this is where I came to spend my last morning, to see this view, sit on a bench and have coffee. And I just brought Roman over here. Come here, Bubba. So I can show him that this is where I cried for the last time before we moved here. Today, I'm going to be doing my makeup, just like a basic everyday makeup look. But I was on Instagram today and I asked you guys to ask me some questions. So while I'm doing my makeup, we're gonna rattle off some questions and some answers. One of the very first questions I got is, what is your go-to coffee order? Now, I love my Nespresso machine. That is my favorite form of coffee. So all I do with my Nespresso is I make either the Malazio capsule, Audacio, I think that's how you say those, I don't really know. But those are my two favorite coffee pods. And then I just use a creamer, a sweet cream creamer or just a regular creamer. And that's pretty much it. But since I've been going to Pret, now that I'm back in New York, I get a vanilla latte with oat milk. Sometimes almond milk. If they don't have any of that, then I'll just go low fat milk. I also love a good cappuccino. Love a good cappuccino. This is what I'm going to use. I'm not going to use foundation today, so this is all that I'm going to use. I don't know, it's just a Maybelline BB cream, and I use it in the 120 medium sheer tint. I hate makeup on my face, but sometimes you just gotta put on makeup. Pulling up the questions box. Favorite perfume. My favorite perfume is Alien by Mulger. I think that's how you say it. Or C by Giorgio Armani, but not the floral one, because I think there's two different C's. Yeah, those two are my top favorite. Someone asked me, what part of Manhattan do I live in? And I'm always scared to kind of tell my location, but at the end of the day, it's Manhattan and whatever. But I'm gonna show you guys real quick. This is the bronzing palette that I use from Essence. I only use one, obviously you can see which one that I use. I need a new bronzer. I'm just so scared to try new products. So if anybody has any recommendations for products, please let me know. I'm also gonna have to buy some lighter shades because I don't live in Florida anymore and it's wintertime. So I need some lighter colors or something, but yeah. And then this is the Real Techniques 245 brush. So I go around my face, down my jawline, my neck. I probably put a little too much on because I'm already so pale. I've only been here for 4 days, but I haven't had any chance to go into the sun. Oh, I never answered. So I'm just gonna say it, I'm in Midtown West, if you guys know where that is. Was it hard to find an apartment? Yes and no. So if you didn't follow me on my month-long journey in New York City, I ended up finding an apartment to sublet while I was here last month. And I loved the apartment building. So I already had an idea that if there was an apartment here that I could afford that was available, I would try to get it because I'm comfortable with the location. It's kind of exactly where I wanted to be for a first apartment, and I know that they allow dogs. So when it came time to me actually making the decision to move here full-time, I did some research and I was applying to places and things, or I was applying to view places. It's really hard to try to find a place when you don't live here, when you're not here to view them. So for me, some of the other apartments that I viewed were really nice, but you can't see the neighborhood. And to me, a couple things were important when it came to having an apartment in New York. So location was key. I wanted to be near the West Side Highway, also near Central Park because I run a lot, and also having a dog, I need places to, walk him. And then safety. I wanted to make sure that I was in a safer neighborhood than others. Two other things that I really wanted was security. So a 24-hour concierge security thing. And then laundry and unit. And I actually got everything that I wanted by getting this apartment. So when I did look at this apartment complex, I was like, you know what? They have one available. I can afford it. It's not what I want to pay. It's a little bit more, but laundry unit, security, good location. It checks off all the boxes. So I applied and literally it was like bing, 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 bing. And within 2 days, I had signed a lease. So it all happened really fast and I don't regret moving into this apartment whatsoever. Oh, well, what do you pay? I don't need to tell you what I pay. I think that it's nobody's business what my rent is. Honestly, it's not hard to figure out how much apartments go for in New York. Some other places that didn't have laundry and were in like a crappier neighborhood, maybe had a little bit more space in the apartment, costed probably the same. Some of them even cost more. So I was like, it's really just a battle and finding, the right one and getting it and jumping on it immediately because apartments go so fast in New York. I know I didn't even mention. So this blush is from Mellow Cosmetics. It is the Peached As, and then I just use the e.l.f. powder brush. I know I don't use like the right brushes for the right things, but whatever. Relationship status. Everybody loves to ask what my relationship status is. And you know what's interesting? Because the people who ask me what my relationship status are is always men. And it's always men that would probably never ask me in person out on a date. So it's like, I just wish that men would just stop asking me out and like trying to shoot their shot in my DMs. I don't like it. I'm much more of I would rather you ask me in person, find me in person and ask me there than ask me in the DMs. I don't know. Something just rubs me so wrong. e.l.f. mist, and then I got these little things off Amazon for powder, and then I use the Morphe Bacon Set Translucent powder. So anyways, my relationship status, honestly, you guys, I don't care to talk about my relationship status on the internet. There are some things that I do like to keep private, and the thing with relationships and having a platform is you have to be prepared for everybody to judge you and your partner. So not only do I get judged on the daily basis because of my social media, do I want my partner to be judged? Do I want my relationship to constantly be judged? Oh my God, I look crazy with this. We're gonna let this sit for a second. No, you know what? I think for now, whether I'm single, whether I'm in a relationship, it's nobody's business but my own. And if and when I am in a relationship and I want to share it with the world, I will. But that time is not now. So we're just gonna let that go. How is Roman adjusting to New York? Honestly, we got here on Monday and it's Friday and he's done so good so far. The only thing is I want to take him to a dog park, but he's being really sassy right now, and I think it's just because he's so overwhelmed. But he's been growling a lot at dogs, but dogs have also been growling at him. And I keep like walking him like by the dog park. And the other day he went nose to nose with a fence in between to one dog, and it was fine. His tail was wagging. And then another dog came up and he growled. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. If there's any vets or dog trainers in New York that could help me out and figure out what the best case scenario is, because I want him to go to a dog park. When he was younger, right when I adopted him, I brought him right to a dog park and just said, like, figure it out. And I just let him off, and that was fine. He used to get, like, dogs used to gang up on him. As he got a little older, he would be doing the ganging up on, but I just don't know. And then I stopped bringing him to dog parks just because I was so anxious about it. I think it's more me than him. And I think that, honestly, if I just, like, let him go in, they would figure it out. But the dog parks here, it's all sizes. So they don't have like a small dog and then a big dog, at least not the ones that I've found. So that also makes me nervous. I don't know. I don't really know what to do. I would love y'all's opinions on what I should do, how I should warm him up, and how I should go about that. I'm a lot less anxious when I leave the apartment. It's not perfect yet. He still howls a little bit and cries a little bit, but it's getting a lot better. Hopefully my neighbors don't kill me. I'm a new follower. What do you do for a living and how old are you? So welcome, new followers. I am a social media content creator full-time. So an influencer, I guess. So I'm a social media influencer and content creator, and there is a difference between the two. I do have an online course that teaches you how to be an influencer, how to be a content creator. If you are interested, I will link it down below. Anyways, I'm an influencer, which means that I represent brands on my social media that I want to work with, right? So I do brand deals, I have affiliate links, you know, things like that. So I do that full time, as well as content creation. So content creation, I do content for brands on their platforms and their social media accounts. I'm not in the content, I'm just creating, editing, posting, and all of that stuff too. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is, so I'm an entrepreneur full time, and it's around the clock work, because if you're not working, you're not making money. And I hate that people crap on social media influencers and stuff. And I think it's more of just a projection of jealousy, because they think that we live this lavish life where, you know, we just get to do whatever we want. We get to sleep in and we just do a random brand deal, blah, blah, blah. And they don't see the hours of work and they don't see that 98% of content creation that we do is free and unpaid. So building our social media platforms is unpaid. Keeping our followers unpaid. So the only way we get paid is if we land a brand deal as an influencer and we have affiliate links. But 98% of our content is completely unpaid. So it's a lot of work. The reward is very high, but you have to be really good and really diligent, and, you know, I don't know, you just have to be a really hard worker. If you want to be an entrepreneur in any aspect of life, not just influencing content creation, you need to be a hard worker. And you have to have self-discipline, because no one's telling you what to do. Anyways, yeah, so I'm a social media influencer and content creator. I don't really like to say my age, but I feel like a lot of people know or can figure it out. I am a millennial and I'm a 90s baby. So we'll stay with that for now. I think that's good enough. Someone said, how much do you just love saying heading home? Oh, for being in New York. I'm so happy to be here. I love it so much. I can't believe that I actually did the damn thing and that I'm actually in New York. And then somebody said, why New York City? And I gotta say, you know, being an influencer and having a platform is interesting, because everybody is so opinionated on your life and everybody wants to make everything political. And if you know me, I'm the least political person on this planet. I hate politics. I hate everything about them. I think everyone in politics are slimy, sketchy, stupid heads that are only out for themselves, and the government doesn't care about us. I don't care what side you're on, left, right, middle, up, down, east, west. I don't care what side you're on. I think it's all sketchy, slimy, and politicians are only out for themselves. And I think that most people would agree with me on that, no matter what their views are. So I hate all things political, and everybody has tried to make this move of me moving to New York City political, because I moved from South Florida to New York. I'm not stupid. I know the differences of living in South Florida versus living in New York. This has nothing to do with politics for me. I have always wanted to live in New York City. A lot of people don't know that I was born and raised in upstate New York. I moved to South Florida 9 years ago, but it's always been a dream of mine to live in New York City. And it's as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that. It has nothing to do with politics. Now, why New York City? So being an influencer and content creator, there's so much more opportunity for me here than there is in South Florida, or really anywhere in the world. It's kind of like content creation, social media, marketing, and management. You need to be in like one of the big cities. So LA, New York, even Atlanta. I guess Miami would be technically another one, but it's really hard in Miami if you don't speak Spanish. It's very heavily Spanish, heavily spoken Spanish down in Miami. That didn't make any sense. You know what I'm trying to say. For me, New York was a dream. I've always wanted to live here, and it was kind of like now or never. Try it, see if you like it, kind of go. I also do believe that there's so many benefits of being in New York. I love being surrounded by different cultures, and everybody can have their opinion on that. But my opinion on being surrounded by different cultures. So I grew up in upstate New York, and I went to a very, very, very diverse school. So I experienced so many different cultures. I was exposed to every ethnicity that you really could find. And I think it's really important, especially as kids, to be exposed and to be surrounded by different cultures and ethnicities and things, because we don't come out of the womb and we're like, they're a different skin color, you know, they're a different ethnicity. You know, as children, we might say, well, why is their skin color different? Or why do their, you know, why do they look different? I just say, why do they look different? Why do they have smaller noses? Why do they have bigger noses? Why do those kids have, like, you know, thinner eyes? I have bigger eyes. Like, those are just things, like, characteristics, right? Or just, like, you know, whatever that kids notice, but they don't tie it to a different skin color, a different look as, like, good or bad. When you're a kid, the only difference between good people and bad people is actions, words, right? Physical actions, physical words. We don't see good or bad based on skin tone and how you look. It's literally how you act. And I think because I grew up in that very diverse culture, town, or that very diverse town in that school, I was exposed to so much. So you really just see that people are people. It doesn't matter what you look like. People are people. Good people are good people. Bad people are bad people. And I think that's just so important that when you're a kid to be exposed to everything, so that when you grow up, you don't see a certain skin color and be like, immediately think it's bad. Long story short, I love being surrounded by different cultures, different ethnicities, different backgrounds. I just love being surrounded by it. It just makes you, I don't know, I just love it. As I'm editing this video, I'm so bad with public speaking, especially on things like this. I'm ultimately just trying to say, I wish that more people put themselves in situations to experience other cultures and ethnicities. I feel like the more you experience other types of cultures and other types of people other than your own, you are more open-minded, you're less judgmental, and you just realize that people are people, and there are good people of all skin colors, and there are bad people of all skin colors, and it really just comes down to people's actions. So that's all I'm kind of like trying to say, is I'm so grateful for how I grew up. I'm so grateful to be back in this type of area where I am exposed to other cultures. I'm just surrounded, and it's also just ways to learn more about the world. I'm very worldly. I'd love to travel, so I like to be in areas where I get to learn more about other people. I'm just like emphasizing children as, like, when I was a kid, you know, you didn't see culture and ethnicities as right or wrong. You just saw people as people. Like, the other kids on the playground were the other kids on the playground. Didn't matter what they looked like. It mattered how they acted, right? If they were good, then you'd want to play with them. If they weren't, then you'd want to stay away from them, like bullies, right? You'd stay away from bullies, and you'd stay closer to the people that made you feel good. So that's just kind of all what I was trying to say. Somebody asked, what made you go back to OTF? So for those of you that don't know, I worked at Orangetheory Fitness for 8 years. I was a coach for 6 years. When I came to New York, I was like, you know what? Let me see what's going on. I was kind of looking for a job, and I was like, let me just see what's happening at Orangetheory. So I got an audition, I auditioned, I got presented an opportunity to work there. I just took a class while I was here. One of the things that really drew me into going back to Orangetheory is, one, it's a comfort for me because I was there for 8 years. I know how to do it. I do my job very well when I work there. And also, being in a new city, it's really hard to meet people. And I feel like when you go and you work at a gym like Orangetheory, some of my best friends I have met from Orangetheory in Florida. And I just felt like it would be a really good opportunity for me to get back into the gym, get back into working in that fitness field, because who knows what could happen, in New York from that. But also just like meeting really cool people. That was my very basic makeup tutorial. I guess I didn't even tell you. I used the Lash Paradise mascara. I used Wet n Wild's eyelash curler, whatever. All of my makeup I will link down below. Most of it you can find on Amazon, and the others that you can find are going to be on my Like to Know It. So I will link everything down below. My little very easy everyday makeup tutorial. I don't know. Okay. Happy Vlogmas, baby.